What's up, guys? Welcome back to Code with Clinton. In today's video, I'm going to be starting the Django e-commerce site tutorial. And in this particular video, I'm going to start with the template. Understand? So I made an introductory video for this tutorial whereby I showed you the core functions of this website, whereby we're able to add to cart, check out, and make payments. So now I'm going to do that again. Now, if I add to cart, my cart up here gets updated. I'm going to add the hamburger. So my browser is going to load. Okay. You can see I have one item in my cart right now, so I'm gonna pick the chocolate cake, add that. Okay, I have two items in my cart now. Let me add the t-shirts. Okay, I have three items. If I click on once I click on the cart button, I'm gonna get down to my cart page. Now you can see the number of items I have in my cart. I can change their quantities and their total gets updated. This page is completely dynamic. Understand? So I'm going to increase the quantity of my hamburger. You can see the price has changed. That's for my chocolate cake. The price also changed. And I'm going to remove this t-shirt. Once the quantity gets down to 0, the t-shirt will leave the cart. So I'm going to remove the t-shirt. So, oh, there's an error with that. Okay, never mind, never mind. That's just a little bug in the code. I'm going to fix that. Okay, I can check out now. Let's check out. Okay, you can see the t-shirt. You can see the t-shirt is no longer in the cart. The t-shirt was removed. Understand? It was removed. I have just the hamburger and chocolate cake. So now I am on the checkout page where I'm going to put in my shipping information to get the product shipped to my house. Understand? So now I'm going to put in my address, my city, states, Lagos, zip code, this, and continue. So now after this, once I click on the PayPal button, I will get down to PayPal and make payments, and my goods will be shipped to my house. So now we are getting started with the tutorial right now, and this is the part one. We're working on the template. So without further ado, we are getting started right now. Okay, so now I've created the Django project called e-commerce. Here's my Django project called e-commerce. The app is called store. So now I've done that already. I expect you to know how to create a Django project by now. Understand? So now after I've done this, now I'm going to get down to my e-commerce, the projects, get down to settings, open settings.py. So I am currently in my settings.py now. So I'm going to register my app called store. I need to register the app in the installed apps. So I'm going to look for the installed apps now. Make sure my app is registered over there. So we'll do that right now. So my app is registered in the installed apps. Okay, so now after we've done this, now let's go create some views for the template. I want to create the views. So open the store application. So open your views.py file. So you're going to create three views for the store page, the cart page, and the checkout page. You understand? So I'm going to do this now. Dev store. That's for the where we have the products. Store requests. So you're going to return this. Return render requests. Our HTML file I'm going to call it store.html, and we'll pass our dictionary. So I'm going to copy this and paste 2 more times. So I'm going to change the name. I'm going to change this one to carts. For our cart page, return carts.html. So this will come be called checkouts. So I think so. Call this checkout. Okay. So what we're going to do next is we're going to create the URL mappings for each of these views. So I'm going to create a URL.py file in my store application, urls.py. Okay. So after I've done this now, I'm going to import the paths function. I'm going to say from Django.urls import paths. I'm also going to import my views module. I'm going to say from dots. The dot refers to the store app. Understand? From dots import views. So So I'm going to create a variable called URL patterns. URL patterns is going to be equal to 3 parts. For our first part, which is store.html, the store view. So I'm going to do this now. Let's see views.store, and our name should be equal to store. The name is for the dynamic URL. The name attribute, so the name argument is for the dynamic URL. So I'm going to copy this, paste. Okay, so I'm going to call this views.carts and views.checkout. Change this to carts and checkout. So what we're going to do next now, we're going to simply register this url.py file in our project's url.py file. We're going to have, that's the next step we need to do. Okay, so now let's open the e-commerce url.py file, which is this. Open it. So now what we need to do now, we need to register our file. We need to register our store.urls file in this place. So now we're going to simply copy this now, Ctrl C, paste, and remove the admin. I'm going to put in here include store.urls. Simply say include store.urls. So now we're going to also import the include function. So that's it now. So after I've done this now, we need to go and create our template, our normal HTML template. So inside of my store app, I'm going to create a folder called templates. Okay, so I've created this folder called template. So what next? I'm going to create each template. I'm going to create the 3 templates we have in our views. I'm going to say store.html, cat.html, and checkout. No, checkout.html. Okay, I'm also going to create more templates. I'm going to create our base templates. The base template is going to be where our other templates will inherit from. Understand the base templates? I'm going to create the templates. I'm going to call it base.html. Let's say base.html. Okay, yes. So now after I've done this now, I'm going to put in some default text inside of the HTML files to see if our URLs and views are properly configured. So I'm going to put in, for the store page, I'll simply say store page. So save. I'm going to copy this for the carts. Put in carts page here. Save, and for the checkouts, put in checkout page. So save. So get onto the browser. So I already have a default. This is my default home screen because after creating the Django project. So now I'm gonna go to /store. Enter. Oh, it says okay. Let's see our URLs.py file. There's a problem with our URLs.py file. So make sure you save this and save the. Oh, you should have added store cats and checkouts. So save. So refresh the page. You can see our store page is working. So I'm going to do the same thing for our cart page. Okay, it's working. Checkout should also work. Okay, perfect. Everything is working super fine now. So now I'm going to get actual HTML files and replace this one we have with the actual HTML files. Okay, so now I'm going to get my base templates now. So I have all this. I have the HTML source code. I have them in a different text editor over here. So I have the different source code, the different source codes for my templates. I have them over here. So yeah, here's my base.html source code. This is just the header. The base.html is just this header we have here. This header that holds the shop kit, the home, and the cat icon. That's the base of HTML. You can see that each of this page have this piece of HTML. If you check our home page, we are on the checkout page, right? If I check my carts page, click on the cart icon, you can see that the carts page also have the same header as well as the home page. So you can see that base.html is a file our other templates will inherit from. So now here's the base.html file. The source, I'm going to copy it, Control A, Control C. So get down to my base.html I created here, which is here. So I'm going to paste the code inside here, Control V. So here's the lead, here's the code here. You understand? Okay, now so I'm going to also go copy. Here's the code. Here's the navigation bar I was showing you. Here's the navigation bar. There is it here, and we have the link to our Bootstrap and UI kits. We have the head section. You can see each template will inherit the nav bar and the head section. Understand? So now in the templates here, we need to create a block. You need to create a block. Here's a block. You can call your block any name. I called my block content. You can call yours any name you like. So I created a block and I put in hello world there. So make sure you also create a block in your base template. A block any name you like. Block content. And you're going to also put in this block content in individual templates that are going to inherit from the base template. So now just watch what I'm going to do right now. Okay, now I'm going to copy out the template for our index.html page. So Control A, Control C. So I'm going to paste that in my main project, which is I'm going to open the store.html and paste that right here. Paste the code here. If you watch closely now, you find out that my store.html does not have the head section, does not have the nav bar. It's going to inherit those from the base.html. It's going to inherit them from here. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to simply put in this line of code. I'm going to simply say extends base.html. So all this simply does that we are inheriting from the base.html. And I showed you something here, this block content here. Understand? So what we're going to do is that we're going to replace this h1 tag we have here with what we have in our with the normal template for the store.html. Understand? We're going to replace that by doing this. We'll create that same block content. Call your own block title. Put in block title. If you call your own any name, put in the name you put there. Understand? So I'm going to call my block content. I'm going to say block content and simply must end the block. End block. Okay. So now simply copy this and paste inside of my blog content. It must be inside. You can see now it's not inside of the blog content. Okay, now so now it automatically replaces the h1 tag we have here. So now what we're gonna do now, let's see how it looks like. Go to the browser and let's refresh the page. Get down to the store.html. It should look better now. Store.html, refresh the page. You can see, yeah, you can see it. You can see what we have here. It's not looking, we don't have the image. We are going to get the image from we are going to serve the image from the back end. Understand? There's no image now because no back end yet. So now you can see we have our shop, our home user. We don't even have we don't have our carts. Understand? We don't have it yet. We don't have it. We're going to add that very soon. That's an image. We're going to use images. We're going to use static files to add our carts over here. So now we have this here. I'm going to also add in our custom CSS to make this look better. If you can see this, you can see this item. They are all there's a contact between them. They are all connected. So we're going to add some margin in between. So I'm going to do the same thing for my checkout page and my cart page. So let's do that. I have the source code here. So cart.html. So I'm going to copy the code here. Control A, Control C. Bring it down to our normal for our main project, which is here. Homecast.html. I know most of you will not like this, but most of you will not like the HTML aspects. If you want to focus on the Django aspects, it's step by step. We're getting there in the next video. So I'm going to paste down my cart page. Here is the cart source code. Understand? There's the quantity price section, and here's our main cart. The main carts that holds the cart items. Here is it here. Understand? So you can see already extended from the base. I'm already inheriting from base.html, and the blog content is also there. So save your work now, get down to the browser, and let's do cat.html. Enter. Let's see cards. Okay, you can see our cards now. It's not looking like we have here. If you watch closely, let's see this. Because we have a standard cut here because our data is coming from the backend on this particular page, but now we are just using normal HTML. So once we start the work, once we start the backend section in the next video, we are going to have exactly something like this. We're going to have something very similar to this. You understand? So now we just configure the cart page right now. So now let's go configure our checkout page now. Just copy the source code. All the source code for my checkout page here is kind of okay, not robust. Okay, for this particular part here, this is our shipping form section. It ends here. The shipping form, it ends here, somewhere here. And after this part now, we have the cart sections that show the order summary section. Understand? So just copy this, Control A and Control C. You're gonna bring it down to our projects, checkout.html. So we have it over here also, and we are also extending from the base template and doing the same blog content. Understand? So from this section down here is our shipping info form, and just down here is the order form, something we have here, just this, the checkout, this particular order summary we have here. So the HTML is simple, just try and go through it. You understand? It's basic HTML and CSS, just go through it. You understand? So now let's save and let's see our checkout page, how it looks like. Checkout. Okay, you can see how it looks like now. You can see is we're having dummy data here. We are not having any real data from the backend. That will be solved in the next video. So now I want to add CSS. I want to add my image here and make this a bit like the way we have here. If you look where you can see our nav bar is well arranged here on the tutorial I've done before, but on this current one it's not looking good. That's because there's no CSS yet on this page, our own custom CSS. So I'm going to add that now. Okay, so now we're going to add our custom CSS, and we can only add CSS in a static file. So we're going to create a folder called static, and the static files helps to load our JavaScript CSS or images. Understand? So now I'm going to create this folder called static instead of my application called store. So I'm going to create a folder called static. Okay, here is it's called static now. So in this folder, I'm going to create a CSS folder. Inside of it, I'm going to say CSS. After that, now I'm going to create a CSS file instead of the CSS folder. I'll create a CSS file instead of the CSS folder. I'm going to create the file is going to be called style.css. I'm going to say style.css. So this will place our CSS code in the style.css, and I have the code right here. This code for this. Here is it. I have the stylings here, so I'm going to simply go down here and paste it. So it's pasted now. So So we are not done yet. We're going to also do some configuration in the settings.py for the static folder we created. Understand? So now I'm also going to create a static. I'm also going to create a folder in a static folder. The folder is going to be called image. This is where I'm going to put in my custom images I might need. So I'm going to create this folder called image. Sorry, instead of the static folder, so create a file called image in a static folder. So that's it now. So after doing this now, I think I can now go down to our settings.py and configure the static folder we created. So the static folder, open settings.py file. So scroll down to the end of the page. Okay, you can see static here. So we're going to create a new variable called static files des. I'm going to say static files des should be equal to, going to be equal to a list of directories. I'm going to call this base there. This is the root directory slash static, the name of our folder. It's called static. To save. So after you've done this now, we're going to link our CSS file to the base.html. You know the base.html is a parent template where other templates inherit from. So we're going to link that CSS to the base.html because other templates will need the CSS. Other templates also need the CSS code we have there. So now just link it. You know, say link rel equal to style sheets. The default way. We're going to simply say href should be equal to the CSS file, but it's going to be kind of different. You're going to put in double quotes outside, curly braces, the percent sign. I'm going to simply say static in our static folder. I'm going to put in single quotes inside the name of our CSS folder, which is CSS slash the CSS file style put CSS. So that's it now. So save your work, and if you are using this static here on any page you are using this static, you must put in a loose static on top of the head section. So we're gonna do that now. Make sure you put in this loose static in any page you have this static CSS link, Django CSS link. Make sure you put in the loose static tag up on top of the head section. So just save your work now. So let's see. So let's see how the page is gonna look like right now. So get onto the browser and let's see the store page. I'm gonna say slash store, remove checkout. Wow, you can see now the the navbar is now arranged. The content of the navbar is now properly arranged, just almost like this one. Okay, you can see we have our, that's the green div, that green circle that holds the number of items in the cart, and our cart image will be in this box we have here. So now our CSS have been added to the page. Now you can see that the divs now are no longer in contact, they are now separate. There's now a margin in between them. That's from our CSS. It's just some lines of code from the CSS. You can see it's not really much. It's just this we have on the screen, very little. It's not much, just few CSS we have here. Okay, now after we've done this, now what we need to do next is that we need to also get our image. Understand? We need to get the image for the cards. It's also part of the static folder. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy my image file. Okay, so what we need to do next is that we need to get our image and place inside of this image folder we have here. So I have my image over here. Here's the card I want to use. It's over here. So I'm going to simply drag and drop into that image folder in the static folder. You understand? So just drag this. Let's drop it there. So we're going to drop it inside of this image folder we have here. It's now in the image folder. I can see the image is holding the cat1.png. So I'm going to close this. So now here's where I need the image to be just, the image is going to be here. You can see here we have the cat container. The image has to be inside of this image source. So now we're going to do the same, almost very identical to this. We will simply copy this, Ctrl C. So bring it down here. to that image source. So we'll paste here and say static. Stand is in the static folder. The image, so we're going to say static because the image folder is in the static folder. I'm going to say static image now, not css, image slash cat1.png. .png. So save now, and let's see if it's going to show on the browser. So refresh the page. Nice, we have our image on the browser now. We have the image up here. Everything is looking good right now. So let's see the cart page. Okay, nice, nice. Everything is just beautiful, looking good. So we are through the part one series. So in the part two, we're going to go straight to the models. We're going to go straight to Django, the models, where we're going to have real data on the site. Understand? So I hope you really enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to Code's Clinton. The source code will be available so you can see and try things by yourself. So without further ado, we'll meet in the next video. Have a great day, stay blessed, and bye bye.